Hi, my name is Dunya, and I have just finished my 11th comic. When doing any kind of project, you tend to get interrupted a lot. And in this case, I started the comic, and then I ended up kind of having a thing where I fell off and I got sick. That's right. I got over being sick, and then I had to work myself up to doing the comic again. But then I realized it's almost Mother's Day. I already had a plan for a comic I wanted to do for Mother's Day because I did one for Father's Day last year. And so I had to stop this comic and get to the Mother's Day comic. And then after that was over, I hopped back on this comic. So this one's called Rainbow. And it is about a man who is wandering the desert, and he ends up getting mad at the gods for not making it rain where he is. And the god ends up hopping out of the cloud and shooting him with the rainbow, because I like the idea of how it's a rainbow. After I finished the Mother's Day comic and I was about to go back to working on the rainbow comic, I decided to use the time information that I got from the Mother's Day comic to estimate how long it was going to take me to finish the rainbow comic. And I estimated it was going to take me 16 hours and 16 minutes. And I was a bit off. Let's get into how long it actually took me to make. So let's see. Here are my notes. I did a pretty good job this time keeping track of how long everything took, how clocking in and clocking out, kind of. I also tried to keep track of what I did on each session, essentially. So the rough sketches ended up taking me 7 hours and 13 minutes. Then for the refining drawing, the penciling, it took 5 hours and 20 minutes. So it's nice that the refining actually took less time than the rough draft. Choosing my colors took me 42 minutes because I had to test them out, try and draw the rainbow. And then for the inking and coloring, that took me 5 hours and 27 minutes. I ended up putting the inking and coloring together because when I inked the panel, I would also color the rainbow, so that way I would be completely done with that one and move on to the next one. And then for the shading, that took me 3 hours and 27 minutes. The total time of the rainbow comic was 22 hours and 9 minutes, which is about 1 hour and 24 minutes per panel. If I can roughly figure out how long it's going to take me per panel, then I can average how long it's going to take me to finish the comic. Then I'll be able to set up somewhat appropriate deadlines that I can try to meet. And that will hopefully create more motivation to get up on time and go, go, go. The best part about making these little comics is taking a kind of silly idea and seeing it become reality. Even though I would like to tell longer stories, and I have a few short stories that I want to get to, I think it's good to kind of hold off a little bit and be able to make the comics more quickly and at a better quality. So that way I won't get burned out. I'm trying to avoid burnout. I don't want to do this. And I also really want to get the proportion of the characters more consistent. I want it to be clear who everybody is and for them to remain consistent throughout the story, instead of, like in this one, there's a scene where he is walking and I wanted him to be kind of deflated, but he looks a little funny. And I don't know, his head is too big and the other ones, his shoulders are too wide. And I keep seeing all my little proportion mess ups. I hope it's not too glaring, but it certainly bothers me and I would like it to go away. The last page of the comic is also kind of optional because I felt like I could chop it off after the god climbs into the cloud. Well, that is it, and here's the comic.